Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter 12, text 17. Yo na hrishyati na dveshti, na shochati na kankshati, shubha shubha parityagi, bhaktiman yah same priyaha. So Krishna says here, a devotee, bhaktiman, yo bhaktiman, yaha na hrishyati na dveshti, he does not take pleasure nor grieves. He neither grasps pleasure nor grieves. Na sochati na kankshati, neither laments nor desires. And Shubha Ashubha Parityagi, he renounces both auspicious and inauspicious things. Saha me priyaha, is very dear to me. So na hrishyati na dveshti. So Prabhupada says, a pure devotee is neither happy nor distressed over material gain and loss, nor is he very much anxious to get a son or disciple, nor is he distressed by not getting them. So this is called na hrishyati na dveshti. Usually we become hrishyati, harsha means happy, if we get a material gain, and we become distressed when we get a loss. But the devotee, he thinks everything is given by Krishna and everything is taken by Krishna. Krishna is in control. So whatever Krishna sanctions, he is happy. He does not get swayed by this ups and downs. So Prabhupada also uses the example. Sometimes we want a son or a follower or a disciple. We want to be hailed. So we are anxious for these kind of things. And we become distressed if we don't get these kind of things. So Prabhupada says, nor is he very much anxious like that. But we should understand that at the same time, we should be anxious for Krishna's service. We should take the anxiety to do Krishna's service. This is spiritual anxiety. Anxiety we cannot avoid. When we dovetail it for Krishna, it takes the place of material anxiety. Prabhupada always would encourage. One time a devotee wrote a letter to Prabhupada. Oh, Prabhupada, I have so many responsibilities. I am not peacefully. A devotee must be peaceful. And Prabhupada wrote back and said, oh, it is very good that you are taking anxiety. Taking anxiety for Krishna is what we want. He gave the example of Mother Yashoda. She is always anxious. She was never at peace. She was never sitting at home peacefully, sitting on the chair. No, she was always moving around. She was always thinking what Krishna naughty activity must be performing now, what I must do now, where he must be breaking things, how I should feed him, how I should do this so he can eat and not steal. So all this kind of anxiousness, this is spiritual anxiety. Then there is pleasure in that, spiritual pleasure. So that is what we want. Take anxiety for Krishna. And na sochati, na hrishyati, na dveshti, na sochati. If he loses anything which is very dear to him, he does not lament. Now, this is a very difficult situation to achieve. That is why Krishna told Arjuna to practice tolerance. Because when things are lost, it is very difficult to remain balanced. We need to be able to tolerate that. Tam stitikshasva bharata. Matra sparshastu kaunteya sitoshna sukha dukkadaha. Just like the summer comes, very soon winter also comes. You tolerate the heat, and heat will go down. Again, cold will come. Again, it will go away. Everything shall pass. We have to tolerate. This world, there is always disturbance. Padam padam yad vipadam. A devotee, he knows that his karma cannot be changed. Of course, it can be changed only by Krishna. But a devotee does not think, oh, now he has become a devotee, Krishna will change everything. Now I'll become happy and peaceful in life. Devotee is happy and peaceful in life not because, not necessarily because his karma is changed, but because he gets that confidence, he gets that knowledge, he gets the dependence on Krishna. Even if something happens, I'm Krishna's servant. Whatever happens, because I surrendered to Krishna, I'll be taken care of. So that is the effect devotee has. He does not pray for karma to be changed. What we are taught by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is pure devotional service means loving and serving Krishna without any condition, without expecting anything in return. Na dhanam, na janam, na sundarim, kavitam va jagadisha kamaye. Mama janmani janmani ishvare bhavatad bhakti rahaitu ki tvai. I don't want any conditions. Oh, Krishna, because I became a devotee, give me money, give me followers, give me happiness, give me wealth. Whether Krishna gives me or Krishna makes me broken hearted by trampling under his feet. Aslishyava padaratam pinashtumam adarshanan marmahatan karotuva yadha tadhava vidadhatu lampato mat prananathastu sa evana paraha. Real surrender means whatever is Krishna's reciprocation, favorable or unfavorable, Krishna will remain my worshipable Lord. Whatever is happening to me, Krishna had chosen to do this for me. Krishna had sanctioned this for me. He knows, he would have known how hard it would have been to take for me this thing that he sanctioned. Still, he did it. That means he sanctioned it. He's thinking about me. I'm being noticed. Krishna noticing means that is a success. And we actually don't know what is eternally good for our spirit soul. We are only thinking about bodily platform. Krishna's thinking is for the eternal well being of our spirit. Like Parikshit Maharaj, young king, emperor of the world, unrivaled, powerful, everything working well for him. He's got lots of future, a lot to do, exciting things to happen. And suddenly, that curse from this Brahmana boy, and he has to die in 7 days. He did not question, oh, why Krishna? Why only me? Why such a tragedy? I always worked for you. I always was a nice devotee. But look at him. He actually thanked Krishna for taking him early. He was looking forward to that opportunity of going back to Krishna. So he was looking at opportunity in adversity. So we should start to do that. When there is an adverse situation, we should look for, oh, Krishna wants me to learn something. Krishna, there is some opportunity here, something positive here. The acharyas, they give this example of Chataka bird. You know, the Chataka bird, it always looks at clouds. It always depends on clouds for sustenance. It only drinks water that is released from the cloud. Whether the cloud sometimes give rain or it sometimes throws thunderbolts, but the Chataka bird always is dependent on that cloud. Tadapi kila payodah stuyate chatakena virachayamai dandam deenabandhodayamiva gatirihana bhavattah kachidanya mamasti nipatatu shatakoti nirbharam vanavambha tadapi kila payodah stuyate chatakena. So Rupa Goswami says, my Lord, do what you like with me. Give me either mercy or punishment. But in this world, I have no one to look to except your Lordship. Just like the Chataka bird always prays for the cloud, regardless of whether it showers rains or throws a thunderbolt. So, na hrishyati, na dveshti, na sochati, na kankshati. Na kankshati means if the devotee does not get what he desires. Kanksha means desire. He is not distressed. And Shubha Ashubha Parityagi. He is transcendental to all Shubha and Ashubha, all kinds of auspicious, inauspicious, and sinful activities. So, how we remain unaffected by these all these kinds of things happening around? So, one time Prabhupada was asked this question. Devotees were there. So, after the lecture, one devotee asked this question, Prabhupada, how is it that we are on transcendental platform? Krishna consciousness means transcendental platform. But sometimes we are affected by the three modes of nature. We are always affected, isn't it? Even though we are practicing Krishna consciousness, we are chanting, we are reading, we are hearing, still we get swayed by these ups and downs, happiness, distress. How we can remain transcendental? We are supposed to be transcendental. Why we are affected by the three modes? And so Prabhupada said, it is just like you are on a boat. If you are on a boat, then you cannot say you are not on the boat. So you are on the transcendental boat. You are not in the ocean water. If you are in the ocean water, you are gone. You are being tossed around. Miche mayar vashe yachobhishe khacho habudubu bhai, as Bhakti Vinod Thakur says. A conditioned soul means he is just floating in, throwing around in the waters of the ocean without any control. He's just undergoing these huge tides. He has no hope. But somebody picks him up and puts him on the boat. Now he is not in the ocean, but he's on the boat. That is called transcendental platform. But the waves are still happening and rocking the boat. So the boat is also rocking. So there is a gulf of difference between both situations. You being in the water, you being on the road, but both are being rocked. So the waves of material nature are coming, they're rocking the boat. But when you become an expert boatman, even in the greatest storm, you can stay steady and steer the boat, and it will not rock. Well, how does one become an expert boatman? The devotee asked. Prabhupada said, you become expert. He quoted this verse from Nectar of Instruction, Upadeshamrita. उत्साहान् निश्चयात् धैर्यात् तत्तत् कर्म प्रवर्तनात् संगत्यागात् सतो वृत्ते षड्भिर्भक्तिः प्रसिद्ध्यति. So one has to be enthusiastic. Utsahan, nischayat, one should be confident. Dhairyat, patient, one should be very patient. Tattat karma pravartanat, one should go about doing all the duties given by the spiritual master. Sangatyagat, give up bad association. And sato vrittehe, and follow the footsteps of great devotees. By this, one can become expert gradually. Prabhupada said, you must be patient. Everything will come in due course. So, Prabhupada also said, when another devotee asked a follow up question, Prabhupada, then how can we give this rich knowledge to others? How can we make them take to this Krishna consciousness? What will make them take it? Because they're used to getting a lot of rejections when giving books or preaching, as is the case in this world. People are enamored with Maya. And Prabhupada said, you simply ask them to please chant Hare Krishna. Whether they take it or not, that is their business. That is between them and Krishna. But you have done your business. You have done your duty for Krishna by simply asking them, please chant Hare Krishna. So that means sometimes we get dejected when we don't achieve our goals in our service. But as long as we do our duty, like Prabhupada is saying, you simply do your duty. That is between them and Krishna. That is what we should find happiness in. This is called transcendental to auspicious Shubha Ashubha Parityagi. Actually, the whole Krishna consciousness is a transcendental thing. There is no question of inauspiciousness. Like when Krishna appeared 5000 years ago, it was described that all these constellations in the sky, they became very auspicious. The astrological influence of the star Rohini, it became very predominant because that star is considered to be very auspicious, Rohini Nakshatra. Because Rohini is directly under the supervision of Lord Brahma. So, and then all the planetary systems were automatically adjusted. Everything became auspicious. And all the things that are happening around, there was peace and prosperity in all directions. Whether it is auspicious stars visible in the sky, or the minds of everyone were peaceful and there were signs of good fortune. The rivers were flowing with full of waters, and the forests were full with beautiful vegetation, and the birds and animals were happy. The birds were singing with sweet voices. The peacocks were dancing along with their consorts. And the wind also was very, very pleasant. So, and then the Brahmanas, they found new confidence because of disturbance of Kamsa and other demoniac kings, their sacrifices were stopped. But now they've somehow found that confidence and peace to resume those sacrifices. So this is the appearance of Krishna. It brings all good, all auspiciousness. Whether Krishna appears or he appears in our heart. And it is very easy to make Krishna appear in our heart. Of course, you cannot make Krishna appear. Krishna has to decide to appear. But you can invite Krishna with all humility by chanting his holy names. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna also said in ninth chapter, Yagnatva mokshasya ashubhat. Whatever knowledge I am giving you, once you know it, mokshasya ashubhat, it will free you from all inauspiciousness. Actually, this world, sometimes people think, oh, there is shubha and inauspicious, shubha and ashubha. You know, when you see a cat, when you go out, oh, don't go, you come back, go after some time. Oh, sneezing, it's not good, don't sign anything. Things like that, isn't it? There is shubha and ashubha. But this material world itself is a situation of ashubha. You're already in inauspiciousness. Like one time there was a devotee who asked Prabhupada, Prabhupada, at that time in probably 1974, there was a discussion about a comet in the sky. And if that comet comes, there is some very inauspicious effects because of that. And he asked Prabhupada, this comet is going to come and they're saying it is going to be very inauspiciousness. And then Prabhupada said, okay, so if you're saying there will be inauspiciousness, are you saying there is auspiciousness now? What is auspicity now? Where do you find the auspicity? And he gave the example. See, one man came and said, oh, this man has kicked me. He has beaten me with shoes. And again, he has said that I shall insult you tomorrow. And Prabhupada said, he is already beaten by shoes. He is kicked by his leg. And still he is expecting more insult. What more insult can there be? You're already in an insult. That means you are already in this world, there is inauspiciousness everywhere. And you are expecting more inauspiciousness. Everything is chaos, catastrophe. What more inauspiciousness we want? Problem after problem. Padam padam yad vipadam. Because this world is like a jail. If somebody is thinking, oh, tomorrow there will be a nice feast, I'm going to get one extra sweet. Is that considered auspicious? Oh, today I was not given that sweet. Oh, what an inauspicious day. That's foolishness because your very existence is in the jail, devoid of freedom. You're suffering. You're meant for suffering and hard work. So this is illusory happiness, thinking, oh, there is auspiciousness, inauspiciousness. No, this is Daivi Hiyesha Gunamayi. This is Mama Maya Duratyaya, insurmountable Maya we are under. So the very existence is inauspiciousness. So the only shelter is Krishna. When we bring Krishna to the center, that is the just like when Krishna appeared, there is auspiciousness everywhere. When sun appears, the darkness goes away. Whatever you try to do, you cannot take out the darkness of this world with your tiny lamps, tiny torchlights. How much ever electricity you put, you cannot make this whole world lightened. There has to be sun, and that is Krishna. And then it is said here, Prabhupada says, he is prepared to accept all kinds of risks for the satisfaction of the Supreme Lord. Nothing is impediment in the discharge of his devotional service. Such a devotee is very dear to Krishna. So he's prepared to accept all kinds of risks. Usually, materialist, he wants to be in a comfort zone. But a devotee, as I said, he's prepared. If Krishna wants, he's prepared to take all the risks. Like in those days, when Prabhupada came back to India, he started the movement in India after succeeding in US. At that time in Bombay, they rented a headquarters, very nice location in Akash Ganga building. It was one of the famous buildings, seventh floor, 4 room flat. And at that time, they were paying 3,000 rupees a month. It was a big amount at that time. This was 70s. And the devotees had no guaranteed monthly income. But Prabhupada, he wanted to attract high class people because yad yad acharati sreshthas tat tat evetaro janaha. Whatever the leading men of the society they do and they tell, the others will follow. So Prabhupada had taken the risk. Such a headquarters would be necessary base for the preaching he wanted to do in Bombay. And then they did a grand Pandal program for 11 days. And then Prabhupada told the devotees when they were thinking we should really do this or not. Prabhupada said a very interesting mantra or formula rather. If you are going to hunt, then you should hunt for a rhinoceros. In that way, if you don't succeed, everyone will simply say, oh, anyway, it couldn't be done. But if you do succeed, then everyone will be surprised. Everyone will be amazed. So this was the spirit of Prabhupada, to do something big for the Lord. Of course, it must be granted by the Lord. You cannot whimsically do things without guidance of the spiritual master. But we should be willing, if there is direction and instruction from the spiritual master, to take up a, a very bold service, even though it might be risky. Because I'm doing for Krishna. Krishna is in control. Whether I succeed or not, it doesn't matter. It is the order of Krishna. And for the pleasure of the spiritual master, we should do it. I'll stop here. Anyone has any questions or comments? Bhagavad Gita as it is ki jai.